Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Nupur. I practice gynecology at Well Women Clinic as well as Fortis Memorial Research Institute, Gurugram. And today we are here to discuss with you what is the best diet for polycystic ovaries, that is PCOD. As you all know, that PCOD is a very common finding which we see in reproductive age as well as during adolescence in lot of women in different age groups because of the changing lifestyle. So we have with us Ira today who will be discussing what is the best diet for you. So we know that PCOD accounts for almost 1 in 10 women worldwide, and it is a hormonal disorder that not only affects women's periods, ovulation, facial hair, weight, as well as so many other things, and associated with lot of morbidity. Almost 30% of women have ultrasound appearance of polycystic ovaries, and it affects a woman's menstrual cycle, ability to have children, change in hormones, affecting the heart, blood vessel, as well as the appearance because of the skin changes and the hair changes. Almost 50% of women are obese. 80% have polycystic ovary changes on ultrasound. Hair growth is seen in almost 70%. Excess androgen side effects in 70%. Menstrual disturbances in 70%. And a lot of this role is also played by insulin in the form of insulin resistance, leading to excess of androgens. And because of this is the culprit for being overweight, for having effects like acne, hirsutism, weight gain, and so many other things. So this weight gain usually happens in the waist area, leading to alteration of waist hip ratio, leading to high BMI and risk of all the metabolic syndromes associated with it. It also affects fertility, and almost when we lose weight, only 6 to 10% of losing weight will lead to resumption of ovulation, increase in pregnancy rate, and fall in insulin levels. And we will not have the long-term side effects of PCOD, and the list goes on and on. So we are here today to discuss the important dietary goals that we need to set for ourselves when we have been diagnosed with PCOS. And if we talk about, is there a cure for PCOS? Can we prevent PCOS? Yes, to a certain extent by lifestyle changes in the form of healthy diet, exercise, and losing weight if we are overweight. So how can we cope up with the emotional aspects by not being embarrassed and not being depressed? So we are there for you, and you should never lose hope. So today we have with us our dear friend Ira Ratan. She is a medical nutritional therapist and a certified diabetes educator from the Vivo Healthcare, and she also imparts education for diabetes educators as well. She is also a Make in India awardee as a vegan nutritionist, Health and Wellness Ambassador for 2019, a Good Karma awardee for clinical food meditation by Speaking Tree of Times of India Group, and clinical food meditation for Signature Program. She has also been a keynote speaker for national and international symposium like Sri Satya Sai International Nutrition and Ayurveda Symposium, Vegan India Conference, Women's Economic Forum, so on and so forth. She has specialized her nutritional therapy into a micro niche of reversing diabetes and its comorbidities since last 10 years through natural food, and has helped reverse diabetes, PCOD in so many patients. And very recently, she has completed an e-certificate from Apollo Hospital for awareness on COVID-19. So as a food educator, her mission is to nutritionally reverse 2,000 diabetics in India by 20th October 2020. So we welcome you here, Ira.
Thank you
A
so
very
much,
warm
ma'am.
welcome to you. So let us start by asking Ira, is polycystic ovaries or PCOD, what we call as, and weight gain interconnected, and how can we go about it, Ira?
So that's brilliant, ma'am. First of all, let me thank you for having me at your show. I'm really grateful for this initiative that you're causing an awareness, especially for teenagers, girls, and their moms. I think it's a brilliant because almost 10% of the women today are affected with the PCOD. So there's a difference between PCOD and PCOS, as we know that PCOD is little contained, whereas PCOS has spread all over the body and it becomes symptomatic. PCOD is asymptomatic, whereas PCOS becomes completely symptomatic, where there is a lot of hair fall, and then you have, thinning down of the nail, thinning down of the hair, you have facial hair. So this primarily because of the male hormones that become predominant in a girl. And that happens when a person has polycystic ovaries syndrome. And this actually happens, when there is an increase of insulin in the body, and due to some reason, it is not getting activated and leading down to the cells as the cells become insulin resistant. Now, once the cells become insulin resistant, of course, there's going to be more of androgens like testosterone and facial hair and stress. And they also actually tend to have a pear-shaped body because, there's a lot of visceral fat and there's a lot of fat around their ovaries and pancreas, and that leads to the dominance of it. So basically, with the weight gain, it becomes more of a pear-shaped, and yes, lifestyle modification with the dietary management. It's a combined effect completely, which can really, and it has in so many cases, it has really helped people to be able to have babies.
Yeah,
Infertility being
and
a prime cause. Yes.
you are right. Lot of women and even girls have overcome this only by change in lifestyle and by losing excessive weight, or maybe having a regular exercise routine. And they have not been taking oral contraceptive pills to regularize their cycles and treatment for infertility. So yes, to have a normal range BMI even prior to conception will be wonderful for us. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, indeed, lifestyle modifications are definitely required. And for the lifestyle modifications, three are the prime. There's your dietary, exercise, and water. Water is actually a hydration therapy which is really required by the body. So it's basically, I go by 33% of diet, 33% of exercise, 33% of water. These being regulated, it comes down to 1%. Then that 1% is just so important that it can negate the 99% effect of any dietitian or anyone trying to help a girl. And that 1% is willpower. You need to have a
mhm.
willpower to be able to change and reverse your disease, to be able to lead a happier and a healthier life, and to be able to have a baby, to be able to have and control of your life. This 1% is totally required. So the lifestyle modifications that primarily are required are your dietary habits. Yes, your high glycemic index foods. Now that's the kind of food that you would never want to have. So what are these high glycemic index foods that we refer? Because you become insulin resistant, so the high blood sugar levels or the high glycemic foods like pasta, noodles, burgers, all the junk food. Potato is such an excellent vegetable, but if you have French fries, I mean, you're just negating the effect. Otherwise, potato itself can help you prevent water retention. It's high into
Yeah,
calcium.
and what about having Maggie and pasta and
Oh,
burger?
terrible, terrible,
So, so
absolutely.
lot of young generation who work in corporates, and they have so many of these outlets that give you short acting foods, and you can just have within minutes and go back to work. But now, yes, because of the COVID situation, most of them are working from home. So that way it is very easy to follow a healthy diet, and what has been prescribed, it is easier to follow. And this time is the best time to change yourself and change your routine and incorporate exercise in your daily schedule.
Yes, you
So
won't believe, Mrs. Nupur.
yeah.
I mean, seriously, some of the patients, who were PCOD and, who were diabetic also, and their lives have changed better. Those were the young executives going out to the office and just picking up a Maggie or a pasta on the way that, this is on the go and this can be had. That's not really a good idea. That good old grandma's or the mother's kitchen ka dabba is 1,000 times better. And I would, in this, through the Facebook, I would really request, there are so many people, there are so many corporates. I would really encourage them and inculcate healthy habits and healthy food for their
Mhm.
corporates, for their people who are there in the co-working spaces. Millets is something really wonderful. And if you, of course, your blood test reports permit, and if you're not like thyroid and don't need quantitative, so of course you can have the millets. And ragi, it's so high in calcium that actually, according to the ICMR, like 2 cups of milk in 100 grams of calcium that you get from ragi. So that's a brilliant thing. Even jowar, bajra, ragi, these were the things
Mhm.
that were
Yeah,
traditional.
So if we are able to incorporate high fiber in our diet, it really helps a lot because it slows down absorption and even the insulin resistance. To fight back even only by dietary modification helps to a large extent. And that is what we tell our clients, to just follow these two things and you will be off medication.
So
So
that's
yeah.
how I incorporate my diet into a manner that it is, like a sustained glucose release system. I mean, your diet therapy needs to be like it has to be well balanced. It has to be, the glucose should have a very sustained or a slow release into your body. And that can happen through a lot of fiber. It can happen through complex carbohydrates. It can carbohydrates. Now that brings about a very important point, and I think it's really touched upon that
Mhm.
people these days are going on keto diets. I mean, that's just so off, because you're not helping your
Yeah.
hormones. Hormones require
Yeah,
the.
it is very important to meet nutritional requirements as well. Only weight loss is not the solution, but it needs to be a healthy weight loss so that our nutritional demands are fulfilled, the diet is balanced, and we are also able to maintain a normal level of insulin in our body. Yeah.
Absolutely, because we don't want ketoacidosis, or we don't want things like that, because when they just go on the keto kind of a diet, they are not having the carbs, and carbs are comfort food. And then we don't want the creatinine also to be increasing in the blood test reports, uric acid increasing out there. So yes, complex carbs, healthy fats, omega 3, omega 6, omega 9, I mean the balance needs to be maintained properly. How much protein you need to have in the body, zero point 0.8 grams for the normal, but for the PCOD I would definitely refer 1 gram of high biological value protein. Also protein should not be hormonal in nature. Whole food plant-based diet, or the DASH, we call the dietary approaches to stop the hypertension. I mean, these kind of diets are completely recommended for a PCOD person. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, and dietary modification has really seen good results. There have been so many research trials done till date for diet, and sometimes we also give insulin sensitizers to girls and reproductive age group women, because the ovulation gets altered. Sometimes they don't get periods; they are only on withdrawal, and so in a part section of these women, fertility issues are also there.
Absolutely.
And when we follow these polycystic ovary women into pregnancy, what happens is their risk of getting diabetes and risk of hypertension, they are all doubled, and the ratio is exactly still not known, but their risk of hypertension and gestational diabetes and pregnancy induced hypertension is much higher than the general population. So, as part of preconception care, we advise them always, whosoever comes for follow up, to have a normal BMI prior to conception so that you can have a healthier pregnancy. Now,
Exactly.
coming on to Ira, if I'm happy that I don't get my periods, if I'm happy that I'm overweight, I'm obese, it doesn't matter to me, and I have polycystic ovaries, I don't have my cycles. But at the same time, in the long run, it affects in many other ways, and there are long term effects that have also been seen in the form of hypertension, diabetes, increased chances of stroke, heart problems, even menstrual disturbances, heavy flow because of hyperestrogen. The estrogen levels go pretty high, the progesterone levels are less, and some rarely women also develop cancer in the endometrium. So, so what do you feel that uh, motivation is a very important factor, and they should not feel discouraged and embarrassed and maybe depressed. And so, what can they do to build up their motivation levels, and what change in lifestyle can actually help? If we talk about maybe relaxation therapies, so what would you advise for them?
So I sometimes it can be very subclinical also, and if I may share, there was this patient who had come to me, and she was like, it's been almost kind of 6 years, and she's not been able to conceive, and she said, that I have a PCOD, I have thyroid, I can't conceive. No, that was like they were going from pillar to post. But the whole fact was that it was subclinical, and she actually didn't went for a clinical diagnosis. And this, I would really use this platform as a shout out to all the moms. If you're teenagers and if you're girls, if they are showing mood swings and they're being depressed and they're eating all junk food and they're overly stressed, and if you do tend to see some facial hair or a lot of fat around the abdomen, I think it's a good idea. It's just a clinical diagnostics. Just go to and get yourself checked out. It's just a simple ultrasound, but it can help
Mhm.
your child in a very, very long way. So this girl, she was coming and she had been like 6 years and she was like still not being able to conceive. And she said, I'm a vegan and so I should be able to conceive. I said, okay, you're a vegan, but I need to trace your blood test reports. I need to check you out completely and understand where what is going wrong. Sometimes it could be sleep deprivation. Sometimes it could be the diet, or sometimes it could be your genetic factors. I mean, if your mother has or mother sister has, so they play a very predominant role. And I'm happy to share that I think it is 3 months she was able to conceive. And that was a very, very
Mhm.
happy news that I got, that she was able to
Yeah,
conceive. And
yeah.
yeah, she was from the Arabic world and she's come from
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. She was
And
having a
sometimes, even sometimes, we need to test for. So it is very important that any adolescent or reproductive age group woman who comes to us with irregular periods, with tendency to weight gain, with maybe predominant acne. So sometimes they are referred to us by dermatologists as well. And there is excessive hair growth. And associated, there are sometimes hormonal imbalances also, like rise in the prolactin levels, which is called
yes.
hyperprolactinemia. Sometimes there is associated hypothyroidism seen in such women. So if we are able to correct these two hormone imbalance along with a good diet, that really helps, and they are able to overcome. And yeah, and if we talk about exercise, even the American Heart Association recommends that all adults and even all teenagers should exercise almost 30 minutes daily, 5 times a week. This is
Absolutely.
the recommendation. Yeah.
So for the aerobics, I would prefer to have, people doing around 30 minutes of cardio. I mean, you just go for a dance, something, even a bhangra. I mean, a bhangra is such
Hmm.
a nice, lively. And the fact is that you should be happy. You should be actually visualizing your little cells in the body and have them smiling. And when you're doing and you're dancing around, and after that, it's very, very important that after your cardio, you must follow up with 20 minutes or 40 minutes of definitely of resistance training or lift up some weights, because that's the time when the insulin you're actually helping them to get to the muscles. So this is something like kind of really important. It has to follow in a proper when we say interval trainings and things like that, so it has to go in a proper rhythm. Circadian
Yeah.
rhythm is something, for the sleep. It's something
Mhm.
important, very, very important. You need to follow the proper meal pattern. You need to give a rest to your body to repair. You need to give time to regenerate your cells. Yeah, these things are completely important. I mean, for the sleep, we can go in for laughter yoga. And I know of there's
Mhm.
this lovely lady that I know in New Friends Colony, and she's like, Dr. Sai, and she's like, she goes about laughing. She's so wonderful. Laughter yoga is something that's really coming on, extremely important. And Surya Namaskar. I mean, if you just go by these things, and
Yeah, yeah.
पुराने ज़माने में था
Hmm.
कि they used to take out that makhan ka thing and all that.
Hmm.
Now the exercise was really important in that because they were actually touching onto the abdomen. That
Yeah,
was
no, and
what.
exercise helps in release of even positive hormones like endorphins. So
Yes.
whatever diet you follow, you get yourself self motivated as well. So
So
to
this,
summarize, Ira, can you summarize once more that a healthy balanced diet which should have what are the
so I
components
would
that they need
basically
to focus on?
so I would like to really start with the first most important factor is to get a lot of endorphins, serotonins, and oxytocin, all those things released in your body. And this primarily comes from an attitude of gratitude. If we have this attitude of gratitude, we can really go a long way. Like my guru says, love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. So when you do something for them, it automatically gives you a sense of satisfaction, and that satisfaction gets the serotonin, all these things washed out over your body and calms and soothes your nerve. And you really, because if it's like in the ovaries, the cysts are always tight, They need to
Yeah.
relax. Relaxation is like breathing of the chanting is something
Hmm.
really important.
So along with diet, we need to focus on our exercise, our water intake,
True.
our sleep pattern, and
Sleep
plus
pattern.
also, yeah, and also get some basic investigations done to
Yes, so vitamin
check that,
D3, vitamin
yeah,
B12, A, B, C, D,
yeah,
fat soluble vitamins, or I would suggest, the zinc. It's something, it's a brilliant,
yeah.
like bhindi do pyaza is something I really refer
Uh-huh.
because, bhindi has got lots of zinc, selenium, and lots of stuff out there. So it's
Yeah,
our traditional
and
Indian.
the current role of vitamin D in
Absolutely.
PCOD, in fertility, and it is
True.
really coming up like anything. Earlier, it
Absolutely,
was
vitamin.
only for bone and mineral metabolism, and it used to only do calcium phosphorus management. But now, a lot of non-skeletal effects, lot of role in
Absolutely.
women's
Even for
health
the
has
immunity.
come up. Yeah,
So even for the immunity, for the COVID also, we definitely need to have a lot of vitamin D3. I mean, people really need to check on their vitamin D, and if they are, they should, get a clinical investigation done with the doctor. And this vitamin D and vitamin B12 and vitamin C, zinc, all these kind of iron, these are kind of completely important, and got a right number of protein in the body. Carbohydrates are equally important. We should not negate the carbohydrates. They are best comfort food. So all these things are
yeah.
like totally yes.
Hmm. So we should not go on absolutely no carbohydrate diet. It is a
True.
complete no-no because some carbohydrate you still need for being healthy.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Ira, for sparing time and discussing the important do's and don'ts and PCOS diet. And we would like to see you more often here. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, ma'am. I'm
And
actually grateful to you for doing this brilliant initiative for
and
the girls. Yes.
we will share Ira's number in the comment box. Anyone who would like to get in touch with her, please feel free. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you
Thank
so much.